Welcome back to The Deep Dive, where we take your curiosity, add a stack of incredible source material, and give you the knowledge you need fast and thoroughly.
And today we are diving into one of the absolute pillars of Norse mythology.
We really are. We're talking about the doom of Balder. You asked us to really get into this one.
Yeah, and the core of the request was fascinating. It wasn't just about the story, but about the how. How does a figure of pure perfection, this universally loved god, get brought down by the smallest possible oversight?
A sprig of mistletoe.
A sprig of mistletoe, all orchestrated by pure, cold malice. So our mission today is to analyze this not just as, a murder mystery.
No, this is much bigger.
It's the catalyst. It's the one event that absolutely guarantees the end of the world, Ragnarok.
Okay, let's get into it. This isn't your typical hero's tragedy where there's a moral flaw. This is a story about a system of divine protection failing because of a logical loophole.
The loophole that Loki weaponizes. And to really feel the impact of that, you have to understand just how perfect Balder was.
The contrast is everything.
It is. The sources are so clear on this. Balder is Odin's second son, and he's not just good. He's the wisest, the mildest, the most eloquent of all the Aesir. He is the absolute best of them.
And he's radiant. I mean, literally, the sources say his face shone like the sun.
Yeah, that he would illuminate any place he entered. And you have to think about what that means in a world that's often so dark and cold, in a cosmology shattered by ice giants and chaos.
He's the light.
He is pure distilled light, and that extends to his whole life. His home, Breidablik, is described as this place of pure joy, music, knowledge.
And he has his perfect family with his wife, Nanna, and their son, Forsyth.
Right, and Forsyth is already on track to become this incredibly wise judge. It's an existence with no friction, no bitterness. It's like a golden age, right there inside Asgard.
So you have this perfect personification of goodness, this golden boy, but there's one crack in the perfection.
One single flaw.
Severe, relentless nightmares.
And we're not talking about just, standard bad dreams. These are apocalyptic visions. They are, for all intents and purposes, premonitions of Ragnarok.
He's seeing the world end.
He's seeing the sun and moon being eaten by a wolf. He's seeing society completely break down, brothers killing brothers, an age of storm and murder.
And the dreams are so real, so powerful, that they shake the entire divine council. When Balder tells the other gods they are all deeply troubled, they know this is prophecy.
They get the gravity of it immediately, but there's one person whose reaction is completely different, and it's this one detail that really kicks the whole thing off.
Loki.
The sources are very specific. When Loki hears Balder describing these terrifying visions of doom, he smiles.
Just a smile. It's not sadness, not worry.
It's professional interest. For the other gods, these dreams are a terrible fate. For Loki, they're an opportunity.
He sees an opening. The perfect son is having perfectly timed dreams about his own doom. And Loki's ready to, let's say, help fate along.
It tells you right away this isn't going to be a battle of strength. To destroy something perfect, you don't use a hammer. You find the one tiny hidden crack. And Balder's nightmares just handed Loki the map.
Right. And that vision of chaos sends Odin, the All-Father, into a complete panic. He can't just sit there and let this happen.
Which brings us straight to our first section. This is all about Odin's desperate, and I mean desperate, search for answers and the real cost of wisdom.
Because Odin is defined by what he's willing to give up for knowledge.
Exactly. He famously traded his own eye for a drink from Mimir's well of wisdom. But now he's about to risk something much, much darker.
He goes on a journey.
A dangerous one. He disguises himself, taking the name Wanderer, son of warrior. It's a great little detail because he's shedding his authority as the All-Father. He's becoming just a seeker.
And where does he go?
He travels east, far beyond the realms of gods and men, all the way to the border of the land of the dead, which is ruled by Hel.
Loki's daughter.
Loki's daughter, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And his destination is, it's shocking. He goes to the grave of a long-dead seer, a giantess.
So he's not just seeking wisdom, he's practicing necromancy.
He is. The scene is incredible. Odin has to use the darkest, most forbidden runes and ancient powers to raise this woman from the dead. Oh. This is the king of the gods, stooping to black magic.
It just shows how desperate he is.
Completely, and the seer does not want to be disturbed. She complains about being buried under snow and rain for centuries, about how hard the journey back from death is.
But Odin persists. He demands to know what's happening in Hel's realm.
And the news she gives him is just chilling. It's not a prediction. It's a statement of fact.
What does she say?
She says, Baldur is coming to us. But then she adds the detail that seals it. She says they're already brewing mead for him.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's not a possibility anymore.
It's a planned event. A reservation has been made in the underworld.
His place is set. But Odin, he's relentless. He pushes her for more. Who's the killer? Who's the avenger? He's trying to get ahead of the timeline, find some way to stop it.
And she cuts him off.
She does. She sees right through his disguise, through his magic, and she calls him out. You are Odin, who was sacrificed by himself to himself so long ago. She just strips him bare.
And in that moment, he recognizes her too.
Yes. And this is the huge reveal. The seer is Angrboda.
Angrboda, the mother of monsters.
Loki's lover. The mother of the three great creatures of chaos destined to bring about Ragnarok. Think about that. Her children are Hel, who's waiting for Baldur.
Jormungandr, the world serpent.
And Fenris Wolf, the one who was fated to kill and eat Odin himself at the end of time.
So the person confirming the prophecy is the mother of the beings who will carry it out. Her perspective is, let's just say it's biased toward chaos.
Absolutely. And she links Baldur's death directly to the end of the world. She tells Odin no one will see her again until Loki escapes his bonds and Ragnarok begins, tearing all asunder.
And that's the detail that hits Odin the hardest, right? The mention of Loki's bonds.
Yes, because it makes him wonder aloud. Loki is not bound. Not yet.
Not yet.
That phrase, not yet, is the entire story's tension in 2 words. Baldur's murder is what will finally give the gods justification to capture and bind Loki.
Which, ironically, sets in motion the very prophecy she just gave him.
Exactly. Baldur has to die so Loki can be punished, and Loki has to be punished so that he can eventually escape and start Ragnarok. It's a perfect, terrible loop.
So Odin returns to Asgard knowing that fate is written. Saving his son means trying to stop a timeline that is already, measured out in barrels of mead in Hel's Hall.
His quest for knowledge only brought him confirmation of doom. And that failure of foresight, that despair, leads us right to the total opposite reaction.
Frigg.
Frigg, Odin's wife. If Odin can't change fate with his wisdom, Frigg is going to try to change it with sheer, meticulous, maternal force of will.
Right. So we shift to section 2. Odin comes back with this heavy heart, but Frigg, who is the goddess of foresight herself, she basically just dismisses the prophecy.
She's essentially saying, I hear you, but no. I am the matriarch of the Aesir, and I will not allow this to happen. She is the practical counterpoint to Odin's fatalism.
So what's her plan?
Her plan is exhaustive protection. She reasons that if everything in the universe loves Baldur, then nothing can possibly harm him. So she sets out on a mission.
A mission to get an oath from everything.
Literally everything. And the sources are amazing in how they detail this. It's not a small undertaking. She goes to fire, and it swears an oath never to burn him. Water swears never to drown him.
And then the physical stuff?
Iron and all the other metals promise they'll never cut him. Stones swear they'll never bruise him.
She even goes to the trees, right? The wood that weapons are made from.
All of them. Oak, ash, pine, beech, fir. They all agree their wood can never be used to hurt Baldur. She covers the beasts, the birds, the creeping things. She even gets an oath from diseases and infirmities that they'll never touch him.
This is more than just a protective spell. She is actively rewriting the rules of the universe to center around her son's safety.
She achieves what seems like a perfect 99.999% protection rate. And the gods are so relieved, so happy, they tune his invulnerability into a celebration.
The game of invulnerability.
Exactly. It sounds like a great party, right? Yeah. They all gather around and they test it. They throw their webbers at him, drop enormous rocks on him.
Hack at him with axes and swords.
And every single time, the weapon either swerves away at the last second or it hits him and feels like a feather. And Baldur's just standing there, laughing, radiating light. It's the ultimate celebration of having cheated fate.
But the sources point out 2 faces in the crowd that aren't laughing.
Right. The first, no surprise, is Loki. He's just watching, brooding, calculating, seeing his opportunity.
And the second?
The second is Baldur's own brother, Hod.
Hod is blind.
He's blind. So he's strong, he's a god, but he can't see to aim, so he can't participate in the game. He's just standing off to the side, feeling left out, unable to, honor his brother with a throw.
And right there, Loki has everything he needs. He has the perfect, innocent, excluded person he can use as a tool.
But he still needs the weapon. He needs the loophole.
The one single catastrophic flaw in Frigg's plan.
The mistletoe.
Why did she miss it?
She didn't so much miss it as she dismissed it. She saw it and thought it was just too small, too young, too insignificant to matter. It's just this little creeping plant growing on oak trees.
She figured no one could possibly make a weapon out of something so flimsy.
Exactly. It was an oversight born of, well, maybe a little divine pride. The belief that something so tiny couldn't possibly threaten something so great.
And Loki zeroes in on that pride with this chilling, brilliant cunning. He needs to confirm the vulnerability, but he can't let Frigg know he's onto it.
So he changes his form. Not into a warrior or a monster, but into a kindly woman.
Completely disarming.
He goes to Frigg, and he starts with flattery.
Mm.
Oh, your son is so beautiful, so beloved. But my goodness, don't you worry with all these sharp things flying around him.
He pretends to share her maternal concern. He makes himself her ally.
And it works perfectly.
Mm.
Frigg, beaming with pride at her success, she boasts. She tells this kindly old woman that, yes, she's taken an oath from everything.
Almost everything.
Almost. She says, oh, everything's safe for one tiny little thing. The mistletoe that grows on the oak trees west of Valhalla. It was just too small and weedy to bother with.
She just hands him the answer.
On a silver platter. The kindly woman nods, agrees, and vanishes. And Loki, back in his own form, goes straight to that oak tree west of Valhalla.
I think this next part is so important. The sources, he looks at the mistletoe, the leagues, the sticky berries, and he considers just poisoning Balder, but he decides against it.
Yes, and that's key to his character. Poison is quiet. It's subtle. But it's also easily traced. Loki's goal isn't just to kill Balder.
It's to maximize the devastation.
The grief, the family trauma, the disorder. He needs the act itself to be a betrayal. He needs to use the god's own system, Frigg's own oversight, as the murder weapon.
So turning the weed into a dart isn't just about killing Balder's body.
It's about killing their sense of security, their belief in order. And he knows exactly who the perfect, tragic person to throw that dart is.
Which brings us to the moment itself. Section 3. The treachery, the dart, and the silence.
Loki knows he can't be the one to throw it. That would be too obvious, and he'd face immediate consequences. He needs an unwitting accomplice.
He needs Hod, the blind god.
He finds Hod standing apart, feeling isolated and sad, just listening to the party. And Loki approaches him with this warm, familiar, friendly voice. Why aren't you joining the game, my friend?
He plays on Hod's deepest insecurity, his feeling of being excluded.
And Hod explains, I'm blind, I can't see to aim, and I have no weapon. Loki just says, oh, that's the easiest thing in the world to fix.
And he puts the dart into Hod's hand.
A small, sharpened dart made from the mistletoe. He tells Hod that this little thing is all he needs, that throwing it will let him be part of the celebration and honor his brother.
He positions himself behind Hod, guiding his aim, acting as his eyes.
The staging is it's impeccable.
Yeah.
Loki waits. He guides Hod right into the middle of the cheering gods, just as the celebration is at its absolute peak.
The source mentioned this happens right after Thor swings a massive club studded with iron nails.
Yes, this huge, terrifying weapon just skips comically over Balder's head, and everyone laughs. The contrast is just devastating.
Thor's brute force is harmless.
And then Loki whispers to Hod, now. And Hod, wanting to join in, throws this little dart with all the strength of a god.
And instead of more laughter, instead of the sound of it bouncing off, just silence.
Immediate, absolute dead silence.
Yeah.
Then a gasp. Then this low, horrified muttering spreading through the crowd.
The whole mood just shifts in an instant. From this radiant party to a funeral.
And poor Hod is just standing there confused. He can't see what's happened. He calls out, why is nobody cheering me? Balder, my brother, why are you not laughing?
He has no idea.
None at all. And the only answer he gets is the sound of a high, keen, terrible wail. It's Frigg.
And it's only then that he understands.
And Loki, his work done, delivers the final coldest line. He just leans in and says, without a shred of emotion, you have killed your brother.
And that's it. The light is gone. The single object in creation that wasn't bound by an oath found its mark.
Loki's genius was in seeing that 99.9% protection is actually a 100% fatal vulnerability if you know exactly where to aim.
The aftermath must have been pure chaos.
It was. The gods are weeping, tearing their clothes. But Odin, he manages to restore some semblance of order. He makes a decree.
No vengeance.
Not yet. He says, no vengeance on Hod, not right now. We were in a place of holy peace. He delays justice, which is a crucial point.
But Frigg, ever the practical one, immediately shifts from grief to a new plan. Hope.
She proposes a mission. Someone has to go to hell, to the underworld, and try to ransom Balder back.
And a volunteer steps forward. Hermod the Nimble.
Odin's attendant, the fastest and most daring of the young gods. He agrees to ride Sleipnir, Odin's 8-legged horse, down the dark road to hell.
So while Hermod is on this impossible journey, the gods prepare the funeral. And the scale of this funeral in Section 4 is meant to show just how big this loss is.
It's massive. They carry Baldur's body to his great ship, Hringhorn, to use as a funeral pyre.
But there's a problem. They can't move it.
The ship is too big, too heavy. Even Thor, the strongest god, shoves and strains, and it doesn't budge. It's this powerful image of divine impotence. They're so paralyzed by grief they can't even perform the basic rites.
So they have to call for outside help.
They summon a giantess, Hyrroken, and she arrives riding an enormous wolf, using live, writhing serpents for reins. She is pure, raw, chaotic power.
And she just walks up to the ship.
Goes to the prow and gives it one single violent push. The whole earth shakes, the rollers under the ship burst into flame, and it launches into the sea.
She does what the gods couldn't, and Thor is not happy about it.
No, Thor, who is still fuming from his own failure, immediately grabs his hammer, Mjolnir, and wants to kill her for showing him up, for disrespect.
The other gods have to hold him back. It's a perfect picture of their psychological breakdown. Thor is just looking for something to hit.
He literally says he's going to kill somebody soon just to relieve the tension. Baldur's calming presence is gone, and the gods are already becoming more chaotic, more violent.
And who attended the funeral?
Everyone. The Aesir, the Valkyries, but also the frost giants, mountain giants, dwarfs. The point is that all things mourned him. His loss was felt across the cosmos.
But the tragedy just keeps compounding.
It does. We get the heartbreaking detail about Nanna, Baldur's wife. She sees them carrying his body to the pyre, and her heart just breaks. She dies right there from pure grief.
So they place her on the pyre beside him.
A double tragedy. And then Odin steps forward and places his miraculous arm ring, Draupnir, on the pyre.
The ring that drips 8 new gold rings every 9 days. The symbol of endless wealth and abundance.
By sacrificing it, Odin is acknowledging that the age of abundance is over. Baldur's death marks the beginning of scarcity, the long winter leading to Ragnarok. It's an incredibly profound symbolic gesture.
And then the greatest mystery of all.
Yes. Odin leans down and whispers something into Baldur's ear.
And no one knows what he said.
No one will ever know. Was it a promise of resurrection? An instruction? Was it the final, terrible confirmation of their doom? The source leaves it a mystery which just reinforces Odin's role as this solitary keeper of grim secrets.
They sacrifice Baldur's horse, light the pyre, and Baldur's body flames like the sun one last time.
And in the middle of all this solemnity, we get one last glimpse of Thor's rage. A dwarf named Lit walks in front of him to get a better view.
And Thor just kicks him.
Kicks him right into the fire. Just a casual, petty, violent act born of grief and frustration. It shows how far they've already fallen without Baldur's light.
Meanwhile, Hermod is still on his journey.
A 9-day, 9-night ride through deepening darkness. From gloom to twilight to a pitch-black dark where the only guide is a single golden glint ahead of him.
The bridge to the underworld.
The Jallar Bridge, thatched with gold, and its guardian, the Maiden Modgud, recognizes him immediately.
Because he's alive.
Exactly. She says that 5 whole kingdoms of the dead crossed the bridge the day before, but Hermod's living blood makes the bridge shake more than all of them combined. It's a fantastic detail. Life itself is a disturbance in the realm of the dead.
She points the way downward and northward, and he rides until he reaches the gates of hell.
Gigantic gates, built to keep life out and death in.
And he can't open them.
So he spurs Sleipnir on, and the 8-legged horse makes a leap like no horse has made before or since, clearing the gates entirely and landing inside the realm of the dead.
He's breached the laws of the universe to get there.
He has. And now he's inside, which brings us to Section 5. Hell's Demand. He enters her hall. What's it like?
It's the complete opposite of Asgard. Perpetual darkness. The day never starts. And there, at the seat of honor, is Baldur.
But he's changed?
He's pale. He's drinking Hell's mead, eating her food. He belongs there now. Nanna is beside him, and in a darkly funny detail, so is Lit the dwarf.
The one Thor kicked into the fire.
Yes, and the source says he's not in the best of tempers. Even in death, grudges continue.
But the real focus is on the mistress of the hall, Hel herself.
Her description is key. She's described as having this strange, mismatched beauty.
The right side of her body is lovely, flesh-colored, alive, but the left side is dark and ruined, decaying like that of a week-old corpse.
She embodies both life and death, beauty and horror. She's a perfect balance of opposites.
And Hermod makes his plea. She begs her to let Baldur go, arguing that all things there are mourn him. He says this grief is the one thing unifying gods, giants, dwarfs, everyone.
He's arguing that universal love should be powerful enough to overcome the finality of death.
Hel listens, impassive, with her one living eye and one dead eye. And she eventually sighs and actually concedes the point. She says Balder is the most beautiful thing and I think the best thing ever to come to my realm.
So she agrees he's special.
She agrees he's special, but that doesn't mean he can leave.
She sets a condition, the universal test.
And it's a masterpiece of cruel logic. She says, yes, Balder can return. If all things in the world weep for him, every single creature, every plant, every rock.
Yeah, there's a catch.
The catch is everything. But if one creature, just a single one, will not cry or speaks against him, he stays with her forever.
It's a condition designed to fail. In a universe that contains malice, that contains Loki, 100% compliance is impossible.
She understands loopholes just as well as he does. But Hermod, seeing a sliver of hope, agrees. He prepares to leave. Balder gives him the ring, Draupnir to return to Odin. Nanna gives him a robe for Frigg.
Proof of the journey.
Tokens of hope. And as he leaves, we get one more look at Lith the dwarf, making rude gestures.
But the source adds a really crucial detail here about what was happening back in Asgard while Hermod was gone.
Yes. While Hermod was riding to Hel, Odin was already taking care of vengeance. He fathered a son, Vali, with the goddess Rind. And this son was born for one purpose.
To avenge Balder.
Before he was even a day old, Vali found and killed Hod.
Wait, stop there. They executed Hod, the unwitting tool, before they even knew if Balder could be rescued.
That's what the source says. And it tells you everything about their priorities. Justice, or at least vengeance, the balancing of the cosmic scales, was more immediate and more important than the actual return of their beloved son.
They sacrificed the innocent agent to satisfy the law, while Balder's life was left hanging on this impossible test.
Which makes the stakes for that test even higher. Hermod gets back to Asgard, delivers the message, and the gods, filled with this desperate hope, send messengers out across all the worlds.
This is it, Section 6, the final betrayal.
The messengers ride like the wind with one instruction: ask everything to weep for Balder, whom they miss like the sun.
And at first, it works.
It's an incredible success. Everything complies. Men, women, children weep. Animals, birds, the very earth itself weeps. Trees, stones.
And the metals. I love that detail. The source says even the metals wept for him, the way cold iron weeps with condensation when you bring it into a warm room.
It's a beautiful, visceral image. The entire cosmos is crying out for the return of its light. The messengers are on their way back. They're overjoyed. They are sure they've done it.
They've achieved 99.9999% compliance.
But then, on a mountain ledge, almost home, they meet the final, fatal exception.
An old giantess in a cave. Her name is Thok.
Which means gratitude. The irony is just staggering. The messengers, still high on their success, tell her the mission and ask her to add her tears.
And her response just shatters everything.
It's so blunt, so malicious. She says, old Thok won't weep for Balder. She goes on saying he never brought her anything but misery.
And then she delivers the final line that seals his doom forever.
I'm glad he's gone. Good riddance to bad rubbish. Let Hel keep him.
And that's it. One voice. One refusal.
Hel's condition is met. Balder stays in the dark forever. Thok just shuffles back into her cave.
All that effort, Odin's journey, Frigg's oaths, Hermod's ride, the universal grief of an entire cosmos, all of it undone by one no.
And the tragic realization only dawns on them after it's too late. The messengers return, defeated, and they realize Thok moved and talked exactly like Loki.
It was him. He used the name gratitude to deliver the ultimate act of cosmic ingratitude.
And Thor, when he hears, just says what everyone is thinking. Of course it was Loki. It's always Loki.
His triumph is absolute. He didn't just kill Balder, he made sure he stayed dead by perfectly exploiting the system's own logic. And then he just vanishes, hiding somewhere, hugging himself in glee at his own cleverness.
The gods weren't beaten by strength. They were outthought.
So as we bring this deep dive together, what are the big takeaways? This whole story is just packed with lessons about fate, flaws, and treachery.
I think there are three core things to pull out. First is just the raw power of fate. Balder's doom was prophesied, and despite everything Odin and Frigg did, it couldn't be stopped. The gods can fight it, they can delay it, but they can't change the ultimate path to Ragnarok.
Second, and this is maybe the biggest lesson, is the power of the smallest flaw. Frigg built this incredible system of protection, but it failed because of one tiny, overlooked detail.
Right. And that's a huge idea for you to think about. A system that's 99.9% secure is, if you're facing a clever and malicious enemy, 100% vulnerable. Loki didn't need a huge weapon, he just needed the perfect loophole.
And finally, what this story tells us about the nature of true treachery. Loki wins not with force, but with psychology. He manipulates the system, he uses the lonely and excluded Hod, and his final act as Thok is just the ultimate ironic masterstroke.
It's just amazing how that one act of cruelty ripples through everything. Baldur's death isn't just a murder, it's the trigger. It leads directly to Thor's rage, Nanna's death from her broken heart, and the execution of the innocent Hod.
And it all but guarantees Loki's own future. This is the act that ensures the gods will finally hunt him down and bind him.
Which fulfills Angrboda's prophecy that he will one day escape those very bonds to start the final war. The logic is perfectly circular and completely destructive.
Here's where it gets really interesting for me. Loki sets all of this in motion, and in doing so, he makes his own punishment inevitable, a punishment that starts the final countdown to Ragnarok.
And the terrible irony is that all that grief, that massive universal sorrow that brought every part of creation together, it was all made completely pointless by his one single malicious refusal.
So here's the final thought for you to take away. Did Loki, in a way, succeed in making the gods' profound universal grief worthwhile simply because that grief guaranteed the inevitable end of their world? The loss of Baldur was the necessary price they all had to pay for the final, ultimate destruction. It was the perfect beginning of the end. Something to think about as you consider the difference between a flaw and a fatal opportunity.